You're listening to Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast.
When your heart is aching and your world is shaking, don't give up. No, no, don't give up.
Hello and welcome to Oh My Health, There Is Hope, the podcast. I'm your host, Jana Short, and today my special guest is Cathy McKinnon. Cathy is a certified health and life coach and yoga personal trainer. Cathy works to help her clients implement success rituals to gain more energy, strength, beauty, and confidence, to start showing up as their authentic selves and thriving on the path to the life they envision. I am a huge fan of Cathy's, and so I'm so grateful to her to be doing this 4-part series. And I know that this part of this series, she's going to talk about honoring your body. So Cathy, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always an honor and a joy to connect with you and you know, inspire our listeners to really live their best lives.
We get so much feedback from your segment, the last one you did. So I'm really excited for the second one. And mostly I'm going to just ask questions as you go, but this is your segment and you helping people educate themselves on a better way of living and how to thrive in their lifestyles. I lost your voice.
Don't know what that was.
That's okay. So go ahead and start sharing with ways that we can start honoring our bodies.
Yeah, I think it is so important. You know, we get so caught up in what we see on social media, comparison syndrome, all the quick fixes or supposed quick fixes out there, that we lose truly honoring our body and tuning into awareness of our body and what is best for our body. And that is something that I have learned over these years. Is, you know, when I was younger, it was all about the diet mentality and the quick fix. And now what I teach my clients and what I live by is a sustainable lifestyle. You know, we're rejecting that diet mentality and we're really tuning into our bodies and what gives us energy and what drains us and what really, you know, fuels us to perform our best. And we're all individuals. And so there is no one size fits all. There is no product out there that will magically make everybody feel all better or lose the weight or whatever it might be. But truly listening to your body and not saying, I'm going to fit into one of these categories for comparison's sake.
I agree 100%. And we aren't all one size fits all. I'm going to use as my recent experience with people doing keto diets, which, by the way, I think dropping sugars and a lot of processed carbs is a good thing. But it doesn't work for me. My hair starts to fall out.
Oh,
yeah. So my body processes foods differently. And so there isn't one size for all. And I have to listen to my body. And one of the things I did, I think I might have actually heard this from you, is I started writing a journal about what the food made me feel like after I ate it. So do I feel exhausted and sluggish and I don't want to move, or do I still have energy that's pumping through me?
And that's exactly what it is, right? And it might seem a bit tedious in the beginning to journal these things out. But when you do, you start to see patterns, right? You can flip it back and see patterns in every time I ate this food, I felt really good. Every time I ate this food, I felt really bad. And then you can start to eliminate the foods that drain you and fill up your plate and day with the things that fuel you. And to your point, you know, keto might work for some. And yes, I agree, cutting out sugars is probably a good thing here. However, again, it's different for everyone, right? Everyone's metabolism is different. Everybody's body is different. You know, for me, I have a thyroid condition. I actually have no thyroid. So my body metabolizes and processes on a whole different level than most people's. But I have to honor that. I have to recognize that, you know, I have this thyroid condition. I have to honor that and fuel my body according to that. But that took time. I mean, what worked before my thyroid surgery and what worked after are two completely different dynamics. And that was very frustrating initially after my thyroid surgery, because I was like, I know what to do. I will do the things that always worked, and I will follow the program that always worked, and I will feel fantastic. And it was actually the complete opposite. I felt awful. I was sick every day. I had no energy. I was like dragging myself around. And I was like, why isn't this working? This worked for so many years before. And it was like the magic formula. And now it's not working. And I had to basically start from ground zero and go back to that journaling of, okay, what foods do work now? I had to completely relearn my body. And we go through that in different phases of life, whether it is after a surgery or just as we age, especially women with the different hormonal impacts as you age. You have to relearn and recalibrate your body as you go and be open to that, as opposed to just getting frustrated that the old way isn't working. And then trying to turn to a shortcut or a quick fix because you are so frustrated that the old way isn't working. We have to really, truly honor our health and respect our bodies if we want to play the long game here in having this great life as long as we can. But we can't do that if we're so stuck or frustrated in kind of the old ways.
Well, I can tell you, after hitting my birthday, turning 60, I can tell you the old ways don't work. What worked for me before, I promise you, does not work anymore. And I am constantly learning how to change with my changing body.
Yeah.
And it's a challenge, and you definitely are picking yourself up, and some things work and some things don't, for sure. Like, I am not going to the gym and working out an hour, 4 times a week like I did maybe when I was in my 20s. That's not going to work for me anymore.
No, but and you are aware of that. You honor that and you say, okay, I need to recalibrate and do something different. I still want to be active. I still want to eat healthy, but it might shift, right? I mean, just think about it. Those kids in high school and college, their metabolisms, they can eat whatever they want and they're just burning it off. But that doesn't work as we age, right? So we have to just really be aware and attuned to our bodies. And, there are times, whether it's, once a year, once every couple of years, or a major event where you have to step back and say, I need to re-baseline. This is all not adding up and it's not working out. And you know what? We're going to go back to the journaling because we need to reset and recalibrate and really be aware of what foods give us energy, what foods make us feel full, which foods that are just empty calories because they're not really fueling us through the day. Even though maybe they used to fill us up, it doesn't fill us up anymore and we're still reaching for the snacks. So really, truly, like, being intentional with your actions and what you put in your body, like, that is the long game, and that's what we really have to play.
Cathy, you are absolutely one of my favorite life coaches. The transformation that I see from your clients is phenomenal. And I just want to give her a really big shout out. Congratulations for your cover on Entrepreneurs Magazine. I am so proud of you. But you earned it.
Thank you. It's been a wild experience, seeing not only the cover, but the response, seeing the billboard down the Las Vegas Strip was pretty mind blowing. But you know what? It's truly an honor that there's the impact and shift is starting to be seen. And that's what it's all about.
It's that ripple effect, right? We put it out there and sometimes we don't see that effect for a while. Sometimes we never see it. And you got to honor that as well. Like, I'm putting it out there because this is where I'm supposed to be going. And I'm just telling you guys, it's happening. That ripple effect is happening, whether you're seeing it or not.
Absolutely. And, that's the thing, is people are always watching, right? People are always watching, whether or not they're commenting or they're contacting you, they are watching. And so, there have been people who have been on my social media following for years, probably, but only recently have they started to ask me questions. And it's interesting because a lot of the questions are, like, what are you doing? What are you eating? Like, how do I get on that program? And I'm like, I think they're expecting maybe, a simple answer of, again, maybe a particular diet, whether it's keto, vegan, vegetarian, whatever it might be. But I'm not about the quick fix, or I want a sustainable lifestyle and I want it to work for them. And so my question back to them is, what does your lifestyle look like?
One of the other questions I want to talk to you about, since the segment is on honoring your body, what we feed our body isn't always food. Like there's so many other ways of us feeding our bodies. And if we're not feeding ourselves spiritually, feeding ourselves mentally, feeding ourselves, in a physical manner on top of what we're eating, something will break. And so why don't you tell us a little bit on some tips that you might have, or insight you might have on us not skipping any of those? There's no shortcut. We can't I'm going to really focus on fitness. I'm going to eat like crap. I'm not going to give myself any self-care, but I'm going to be so fit. It never works like that.
It never works like that. And that's the thing, right? I mean, you have to do the work. I actually had a woman contact me and she said, okay, I want you to coach me, but I don't like to sweat or exercise. And I was like, well, I might not be the coach for you then. Because you have to address your lifestyle and your body and mind holistically. We cannot just focus on one thing and think it's going to trail through. And you're right. Your mindset is so important. If your mindset is not right, it will have physical implications on your body, regardless of what you're eating, regardless of how much time you're spending in the gym. If your mindset is not right, your body will hang on to weight. Like your cortisol is going to raise. Your body will not function like it should. And you're going to end up very frustrated and end up probably either binging or end up looking for a shortcut, neither of which are the desired long-term effect. But to address your mindset, you have to take the time to, whether it's meditate, whether it's journal, whether it's yoga, which is both mind and body. So for me, that's a 2-for-1. If I can get to a yoga class, I can get my physical in as well as my mental in. But you have to, again, it is about being intentional with your days and your time and your life. Without that intentionality, you are just going to fumble through and not show up as your best self, even if you're eating all the right foods. You can have the best diet in the world. You can be in the gym doing your thing, but it's not going to matter if your mindset is not right, if the positivity is not there, if the gratitude is not there, and the drive. Otherwise, you're going to see implications all around. It's going to be a ripple effect, but not the ripple effect that you want.
100%. It works both ways. It definitely does. So some of the great things that I see you coaching on are women who are struggling with, how would I put it? They've tried a million things and nothing seems to have worked, and they've really given up on themselves. They just feel like they can't do it. They've given up on themselves. And yet I see them blossoming when they're working with you. So tell me, who are your clients and what are they coming to you for? And why are they coming out of this in such a different state of mind?
My clients are, these women who deep down, they know that they are made for more, and they know that they are not showing up as their best selves right now. And they want the life that they are meant to lead with the confidence and the joy. And so we work on a multitude of things. My coaching is holistic, right? I look at the 5 major areas of your life. I look at your health. I look at your mindset. I look at your relationships. And these women just come out showing up so differently. And I said this to one of my clients. I said, people around you will notice that something is different, but they won't be able to put their finger on what it is. And when you've hit that point, you know that you are showing up differently and the things that you are doing are working, because people are noticing, even though they can't figure out, is her hair different or is her makeup? Something is different. And one of my clients actually said to me yesterday, I had a neighbor, her neighbor came up to her and said, you know what's different? What are you doing? And I said, see, there it is. All of these little things that we're doing in terms of changing your habits and changing your lifestyle to fit the vision that you desire, they're starting to show now because others are noticing that something is different, even if they can't put their finger on exactly what it is. But that's the thing, is you get that future version of yourself, that person that you really truly want to be. And then I help these women dive in and say, let's cut out all the noise. Let's cut out all the distractions and let's be that person that you know that you are meant to be. And these women, you know what? I have one client, she lost 50 pounds and she has maintained that weight loss now for over a year. And she was actually texting me this morning, like she wants to like go even harder, not in terms of just completely, you know, losing weight, but she's like, I feel so great now. I want to like set my goals and targets even higher. And I'm like, yes, like this is where she is ready to lead herself to the life that she's always wanted.
Can I tell you, I just got goosebumps because I hear that all the time. Like, I can't do that. I've never been able to do that. I've tried that. It's never worked for me. And then not only do they hit those goals, but they realize that's not even their goal.
Right.
It's bigger.
It's bigger. It's not about the number on the scale. It's not about the pant size. Those are all superficial things that when you peel it back and really address the underlying issues or traumas or whatever it might be that is blocking you from moving forward, those things come easily. You don't have to push as hard because, again, when your mindset is right and your habits line up and your goals line up and you put women in line with their ambitions and their joy, like it's like you're unlocking the magic code and they can just flow through life as opposed to just completely feeling like they're struggling and hitting roadblock after roadblock. Because when you're in that mode, just robotically, like everything is a struggle, you're right. Like you aren't your healthiest. You aren't showing up with confidence and joy because you were just so stressed and frustrated. And so let's remove that and truly start to enjoy the life that you were meant to live.
So I'm going to ask you if you will share maybe 3 tips that women can start using, or if you're listening and you're a man, you can use it too.
Sure.
Some tips, maybe 3 tips on what they can start implementing in their lives right now to start moving out of that space and into the space they want to be in.
Yes. Yes. I would say number 1 is one we already talked about. If you have not, recently, I would take the time, and I know it's one more activity and our lives are full and busy, but take the time to journal your food. And when I say journal your food, I'm not talking dietitian in that I ate, this many ounces of chicken. Put the emotions and the feelings to the food. So if I ate chicken and an hour later I felt really sluggish, put that emotion to the food. And do it for, try at least 1 week, maybe 2 weeks, so you can start to see the patterns, because it will be very telling in which foods that you should really make sure that you are getting, and those foods that you should probably avoid because you just don't feel that great when you have them. And we all have them, and they're different for everybody's body. So that's number 1. If you've done it recently, great. If you haven't done it recently, I really encourage you to do it because you'll learn so much about your body. Number 2, exercise. Doesn't have to be, CrossFit intense, but you have to move your body to honor your body. Like, we were not meant to be sedentary creatures, right? We were meant to move, whether it is walking, running, whatever it might be that you enjoy. Make sure it's something that you enjoy, because then it's not work, right? Because then it's fun. Whether it's spin class because it gets you like jazzed up and going, whatever it might be, like find that exercise that you enjoy. Or a fun thing that I've done recently with my son being home is like, what were those activities like as a child that you really enjoyed? I remember like loving roller skating as a child. And so, my son and I were busting out our rollerblades the other day, just rollerblading around the neighborhood. And I'm like, I haven't done that in so many years, but it was just so fun to play and laugh. And it was exercise, right? So there's so many ways to like incorporate exercise and honoring your body, and that it is not supposed to just sit still all day. We were truly meant to move. So that's number 2. Number 3, respect your body. Give yourself grace. If you are just not feeling something someday, honor that. If your body is hurting, maybe you exercise too hard, or maybe you have an injury, or whatever it might be. Like, respect your body to let it heal and take the time to heal. Resting and sleep are so important for recovery as well as for your mindset, that we all know, like when we are so tired or we're running on a few hours of sleep, we're just mentally foggy. And that impacts our whole day, as well as if your body is healing and recuperating. So respect your body, honor your body, let it rest, give it sleep. If it's hurting, take a time out. There is no need to push yourself and be superhuman.
One of the things I want to go back to is the very first thing you talked about, journaling. You're like a genius. So as a mindset coach, I will tell you, when you do what Cathy said to do as a first tip, and just journal for a couple weeks, what you feel like, maybe an hour after you eat a meal or a certain food, what happens is your body, your brain, where everything is being triggered, starts recognizing the emotion with that food, and it starts not wanting it. Literally, it'll be like, no, remember you said that made me feel. And once you start putting that down on paper a couple of times, your brain starts hearing it and it starts going into protection mode, because that's what our brain does. It keeps us alive, right? Don't touch, it's hot. Like, be careful of doing this. Grab a coat, you're cold. It, like, the brain is triggering you to take care of yourself. So if you're saying, I feel so much energy when I eat this green salad that I hate, but I have so much energy, pretty soon your mind's like, no, I need energy. That salad is what we need.
Yes.
So that is a genius thing to do. It's kind of subliminal. You don't even know you're doing this.
Right. You don't even know you're doing it. And then again, you can do it intentionally too. Like if you are feeling sluggish one day, go back to the journal. What are the foods that I felt really energized after eating? I'm going to go get those for a meal, as opposed to just casually grabbing something out of the refrigerator, because today I'm aware and I recognize that I'm sluggish. So what are my energy foods? Okay, those are the ones I definitely need to make sure I have on my plate today.
I love it. Cathy, I think that you're amazing. I'm going to have you leave by doing one last thing. I want you to, there's a lot of women, and sadly I'm seeing this a lot more often. They just gave up. Like they just gave up, and they piled themselves under all the excuses on why they've given up. I'm too busy. I have to take care of my kids. I'm working 3 jobs. I'm going to tell you right now, I was a single mom at 17. In college working 3 jobs, and I made shit happen. I don't know that I could do that again, but I didn't allow all those excuses to hold me back. What would you say to those women who are like, I want to thrive in my life. I just don't want to be in this space anymore. What would you tell them to move? How would you tell them to, like, besides working with you, like, contact Cathy, because she creates miracles. Like, seriously, she just pulls the best out of you. But what would you look at them and they're ready to quit? What would you tell them?
I would say that, to be honest, I've been there. I've been in that place where, you know, the to-do list and the robot mode was in full effect. Absolutely. But that's not an enjoyable way to live life. And, you know, after my cancer diagnosis, that was like my awakening to, like, I need to go out and live my life to the fullest, because I don't know what tomorrow brings. And I would just say to these women, I understand where you're at, because I've been in that place. But I also know that you should not wait for that universal smack in the face like I got to truly take charge of your life and lead yourself to the best life that you can have. Because tomorrow isn't promised. I think we learned over the last 12 months with all of this COVID craziness that we have no idea what tomorrow is going to bring. And so how do you want to remember your life? How do you want others to remember your life after you're gone? And we have to start taking small actions every day. We don't have to climb the mountain day one. Small actions truly do add up. And I would say, to your point, Jana, you were a single mom and you made stuff happen. I'm a single mom right now with my 10-year-old, my soon-to-be 10-year-old. You can get things done. You are capable of doing these things, even if it is baby steps every day. It does not have to be leaps and bounds every day. It has to be small things. And not every day will be a victory, because we're human. But as long as you are making progress and you can see the progress, and again, that's where journaling is so important, because we can look back and say, you know what, I am, even on those challenging days, you can look back and say, look, I am further than where I was before. you can do it. You can have the life that you want. You can make progress. You can live the lifestyle. If you want that active lifestyle, it's all possible. You just have to start with that first step, which is the hardest. And I understand that first step is the hardest because it's typically the scariest, but it's possible and you can do it. From two women who currently are, and we're a single mom, like, it's possible.
It is possible. And I will tell you, if something is in your way, the only thing stopping you from getting past it is you. So you can make the change. You have everything you need to get where you want to go. I would highly recommend that we're going to put all of Cathy's information in the show notes. I would highly recommend that you connect with her, get to know her, I know she has free offers in there. I know she has all kinds of amazing things for you to gather. She has written several books. She's just amazing. Grab onto her train. And she has 2 more parts coming in this series, and I cannot wait to hear what those are on. So thank you, Cathy.
Thank you so much, Jana.
Thanks for listening to the Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast. Make sure to visit Jana's website, bestholisticlife.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, or listen there, so you'll never miss an episode. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you simply tell a friend about the show. That'll help too. Let's change the world together, one health expert at a time. Looking forward to seeing you next time.